We're ready.
Good morning, everyone. Here we go. Good morning, colleagues. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular scheduled Board of Public Works meeting for Friday, July 12th, 2024. Ms. Satursky?
Good morning, Madam President. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works, taking roll in establishing quorum. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corsant, and Commissioner Reyes all present, and we have a quorum. We're also joined by City Attorney Representative Ms. Adina Hoppenstand. We have two public speakers under general public comment today, both on the Zoom, so we can call on them. No neighborhood council commentary, and possibly attendees on the Zoom for agenda item commentary.
Did you say we have folks on the Zoom platform?
Yeah, we have two folks on the Zoom for general public comment now.
Okay, let's do that now.
Okay. Great, we'll start general public comment. Caller ending in 403, you will have 2 minutes. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, the mighty one has returned. Now, where are the Braille instructions? You had a gentleman who's disabled, and he wants everything in Braille. And you haven't provided it, to my knowledge. How come you will discriminate against the disability people? Disabled people aren't all retarded. I'm retarded. Oh, that's true. What? Oh, please go on. Yes, but I'm not necessarily disabled, but maybe I am. I think the chair of this commission's disabled because I think she's too fat. And of course, what about the Sepulveda Basin, Mr. Davis? What happened to all the street lights? 48 street lights out on Woodley Avenue, Balboa Avenue, and what's the other one? Burbank Boulevard. Burbank Boulevard between the 405 and the 101. How come all of Goat Puppet's complaints are not being answered? And the reason why is it's in CD6, ran by another big fat cow. This one's called Unisys, is that her name? No. Oh, Imelda. Yes, that's right. Yes. So how come we can't get street services? Just because we're black and live in the San Fernando Valley? Is that what you do there, Mr. Davis? Discriminate against some black folks? I think this city is using services in a discriminatory way.
That's 2 minutes. Okay, caller logged in as Audit LA, please go ahead and unmute yourself and you will have 2 minutes.
Yes, good morning and thank you. I'm here to talk about the constant closure of L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's as if Scientology is getting a de facto street vacation given to them by the city. Most of what they do, it's not even there's not enough people or anything to justify these street closures. And I don't understand how they are continuously getting them. It's as if they just want to, get people away from, they don't want people using that street. They think it's theirs. The police are telling everybody it's theirs, that they own it. And I'm trying to find out if they are actually applying for a street vacation and your engineering department will not answer. So I'm requesting, is there any kind of way to have a meeting with Public Works where, because we're not getting answers through CPRA, through anything. And I don't know what is going on, why they are they've had the month of June completely, the month of July completely, where they're shutting down these streets. They were trying to shut down the sidewalks, but they finally got called out so much on it that the police finally said yes, that people can go on the sidewalks. But there's people that live on the street. They need to be able to get in and out of their driveways. It's just to the point of being ridiculous. I am begging you to please oversee Streets LA and Boss to please make sure they are doing things by the law, that that they are and that it's fair to the community. I cannot imagine that they're getting their 51%, whatever it is, the approval of the community for these constant closures. And I am begging you to make it stop, or to, to look into it further and seeing why this is happening. And they also don't have it on the portal anymore. We can't even get permit information anymore. They're not answering CPRAs correctly. And,
Thank you,
there's no
caller.
accountability, there's no transparency anymore.
Thank you,
And
caller.
we
That's
wanted
2
to
minutes.
stop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another hand raised that just went up.
Okay.
Caller Micah, do you have a general public comment or comment on one of our agenda items?
General public comment.
Okay, great. You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Micah Hasurgian, and I'm calling in today because I'm really concerned about the current state of the Los Angeles Tree and Protected Shrub Ordinance, which falls under your jurisdiction to enforce. It's currently really not being enforced properly, especially with the recent incident at Elysian Park. We're just being pushed over to Parks and Rec, and the trees that have been identified in the tree and protected shrub ordinance really should be fall under the entire trees of Los Angeles, not just private property trees. So if Parks and Rec is responsible for these trees, then the tree and protection of shrub ordinance needs to fall under their jurisdiction as well, which you all are responsible of enforcing. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Is that the end?
That is the end of general public comment.
Thank you for that. General public comments are now officially closed. Moving on to the approval of the minutes for Friday, June 21st, 2024. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item? Thank you, VP Villegas. Mr. Tursky, there's a first by me and a second by Vice President Villegas to approve the minutes of Friday, June 21st, 2024.
Great. We'll take the roll call, starting with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries
Very
forward.
well, thank you for that. Good morning, everyone, and a happy Friday. Yay. Just wanted to make sure I wish everybody a good weekend, and we have a pretty short agenda today, and we'll go through chronologically ordered, and we'll take it from there. So we'll start with item number 1. This is a request in Council District 15 by the Bureau of Engineering, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Kleinfelder, Inc. from the pre-qualified on-call bridge civil engineering and other design and support services consultants list to provide engineering support services for the Dell Avenue Bridges over Venice Canals replacement project as stated in task order number 208 with a budget authority of $800,000, which includes contingency. And this morning we have Haji Abdallah. You are not a Haji. I have Christine Sotelo here. Hi, Christine. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Christine Sotelo, and I'm the new Principal Civil Engineer for the Bridge Improvement Division within Bureau of Engineering. I'm here to request that the board authorize the city to issue task order number 208 to Kleinfelder from the PQOC Bridge Civil Engineering Other Design Support Services Consultants list to provide engineering support services for the Dell Avenue Bridges over Venice Canals replacement project. The total budget authority for this task order is $800,000. So the proposed project consists of 4 bridges located on Dell Avenue between South Venice Boulevard and 28th Avenue within the city's historic Venice Canals. In BOE's assessment of bridges, Dell Avenue bridges received F ratings with a sufficiency rating below 60. A bridge sufficiency rating below 60 is indicative of bridges having characteristics of being either structurally inadequate, not meeting safety, technological, regulatory, and public assessment requirements, or place an undue burden on the budget for operations, maintenance, or spatial inefficiencies. The intent and purpose of the preliminary engineering phase is to clearly define the purpose, need, and project footprint by evaluating the existing conditions and documenting the existing constraints, identifying the full range of conceptual plans of the viable alternatives for all 4 existing bridges along Dell Avenue. So 2 firms responded to the city's solicitation, upon which Kleinfelder demonstrated the most comprehensive understanding of the project, and their proposed scope included all necessary requested services. In an effort to complete the proposed preliminary engineering scope by the expiration of the current PQOC contract in November of 2024, BOE had requested an emergency issuance of NTP-1 for $149,000 in April with Commissioner Villegas's concurrence. Any task not completed by contract expiration will be solicited upon establishment of the new PQOC contract. BOE recommends acceptance of Kleinfelder's negotiated proposal in the amount of $789,569.59 with a contingency of $10,430.41 for a total budget authority of $800,000. The DBE percentage is 26.07%, which exceeds the federal minimum of 8%. And full funding is provided by the State Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program Special Funds SB1 Fund, which was approved in the mayor's fiscal year 23-24 budget through the Capital Improvement Expenditure Program. I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that, Christine. Any questions for Ms. Sotelo? Hearing none. Any objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 1 forward and forthwith? Thank you, VP. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Mr. Tursky, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 1 forward and forthwith. Christine, come back. We're not quite done yet here.
We're done.
You left us right in the middle. Mr. Tursky, there's a first by VP Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 1 forward and forthwith.
Great. We'll take the roll call, starting with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. All right, moving us on to item number 2. This is in all council districts for a request for authority. Change the consulting name from Piffier Partners Architects to Perkins Eastman Architects. Oh, good. It's a better name, by the way. Just saying. Recommending the board to authorize to authorize the city engineer to instruct the city controller's office to update their payment records to reflect the consultant's name change from Piffier Partners Architects, Inc. to Perkins Eastman Architects, Inc., DPC. And Mr. Abdallah is here on this item. Mr. Abdallah, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, all. It's good to see you on this Friday as well. The consulting firm, formerly known as Pfeiffer Partners Architects, currently has contract number 124709 with the Bureau of Engineering and has had that contract under the Department of Public Works since 2014. The board approved an amendment to extend the contract in 2019, and the contract expires in September of 2024, and BOE is actively working on the amendments for many of our contracts, pre-qualified on-call architectural contracts, which will be coming to you shortly. In May of 2024, the principals of the firm officially notified the BOE that the firm changed its name from Pfeiffer Partners Architects to Perkins Eastman Architects due to a name change effective August 1st, 2021. Pfeiffer merged officially with Perkins Eastman in 2022, and the BOE Arch Division heads, we met with the firm to ensure that the firm's new structure could still deliver projects based to the city's standards as originally contracted. Pursuant to the contract, all terms shall remain effective and enforceable without modifications. However, it is necessary to change the name officially within the city controller's office for payment purposes. All future notices and general correspondence shall be revised to reflect the name change as noted in the board report.
Okay.
Any questions?
Very well. Thank you for that. Appreciate your report. Any questions, Dr. Davis?
Yeah, I wanted to know in terms of the change of the name, that change, there are not any other changes that we inherit as a result of this basic change that we're making here today in terms of finances or any other kind of impact upon the projects that we'll be doing with them? Question.
Very good question. No, we will not affect any sort of impact to the contract. The consultants are allowed to submit updates for cost of living increases for staff as typically, and that will remain the same. Pfeiffer doesn't currently have any task orders with us right now, but they are being eyed for a very large task order that will be coming to this board within the next month.
All right, thanks.
Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Mr. Tursky, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Okay, we will take the roll call, starting with you, President Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a good rest of the day. Moving us on to item number 3, this is in Council Districts 8 and 10 for a relinquishment of streets of significance, Metro Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project and preservation of the streets of significance with impact area O, Destination Crenshaw project, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer as the chair of the Major Transit and Transportation Construction Traffic Management Committee to relinquish the streets of significance from the Major Transit and Transportation Construction Impact Area O for the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project and to preserve the SOS within Impact Zero area for the Destination Crenshaw project affected upon the adoption of this report. And who's here? Mr. Tran? Is that 0 or is that O?
Letter O.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we try to go to alphabetical order.
Got
Sorry
it.
about that.
Mr. Chan, welcome. Good to see you. What are you doing?
Yeah. Good morning, President Garcia and commissioners and board members. I'm Curtis Tran with Bureau of Engineering Metro Transit Division. We are here to request the board to relinquish the street of significance from the Major Transit and Transportation Construction Impact Area O from the Metro Crenshaw and LAX Transit Corridor Project, and also preserve some of the streets of significance for the ongoing construction of Destination Crenshaw project. Pursuant to Municipal Code 62.250, the Major Transit and Transportation Construction Impact Area Traffic Management, also, I know it's it's also known as TCTMC abbreviation for that. We are complying with the staff from BOE, from Bureau of Engineering, LADOT, Bureau Contract, Bureau Street Services. The traffic impact from the construction activity within the designated impact area, or in this case, shall be minimized and minimize the disruption and traffic flow. Any entity that who intend to obtain permit to perform activity in the public right-of-way within the impact area and the street, identified street significant, will need to get the worksite traffic control review and approved by the TCTMC committee. This is in many ways for safe detouring and also safe construction, and also minimize a lot of construction conflict. You know, we can't have like 3 or 4 different project or contractor be in the same place, same time. That would be a nightmare for the community and the project as well. The Metro Crenshaw LAX project, they have notified a majority of the major construction work is completed, except a few minor ongoing punch list item that they're working. So they don't need this impact area to be enforced any further. Ongoing minor work can be complete with minor based on the watch manual. Deletion or relinquishment of this impact area will eliminate the traffic lane closure fee for applicants that they require to pay now, and also will reduce the work for city staff who attend the weekly TCTMC meeting. So the typical, once this impact area is relinquished or removed, delete, the typical permit issuance will be back to the normal individual bureau or the department. I mentioned earlier, we do have the Destination Crenshaw project still ongoing construction. So some of the street of significance will still be preserving it to support that project. There is no fiscal impact on the channel, no negative channel impact on the channel fund. So this is the conclusion of my report, and I'm happy to answer any question you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tran, for that. Any questions, colleagues? Dr. Davis? Do you have
Oh, no.
So basically, you want to remove some of these streets from your committee, right?
From this specific impact area, that's correct, President.
Okay.
That's here. And we preserve some to support the ongoing Destination Crenshaw project. That project gonna be plan to schedule to complete by end of this year, 2024.
By this year?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's the goal, or sooner.
All right. Okay, well, that's good to hear. I saw the letter from, I believe is the Crenshaw District Transit Project as well, asking for these streets. Is that correct?
Yes, we've been discussing with the Destination Crenshaw project and Metro Crenshaw LAX project. So we have an agreement that, this area can be released now.
Okay, understood. Any questions, any objections, colleagues?
Ask in terms of streets of significance, could you summarize how many streets of significance there are?
How many there are?
Just a ballpark figure.
It's really depend on the site, the scope of the project. So, for example, this Crenshaw LAX project, right? It's like 14-mile long. It's like a roller coaster in many ways. It's at grade, at the ground, on the bridge, and underground. So we identified throughout the lifetime of this project, I would say probably in the 50, 60 street of significant. These are the major artery. These are the street where the construction occurring and where the detouring will happen. So that's how we determine the streets of significance. And also, over the length of the project, we will try to reduce when the construction is no longer an impact to the public any further. So you'll see me come back here every now and then. We'll have to revise the area to make it smaller, but also we can expand too. Treating the lifetime project, if we identify, if suddenly, when you have construction, traffic pattern will change. And we have issue in the field that, suddenly everybody go to, say, Street A, for example, and was not identified. We would have to come back and revise it, say, hey, you know what? We got to make sure, this street will be free of construction or construction should be in order to minimize the capacity loss and conflict and disruption. The mega project, when they go on, it take years. They're very big, they're in the billion-dollar projects, and it's a big effort to get the project, transit and transportation project in on time, and they just take a lot of work between the city and Metro and everybody else.
So the collaboration is critically important, obviously, to the completion of the project. And I'm sure as a result of the work that you're doing, it makes it a much more smoother transition for Destination Crenshaw. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. One good thing about this, the area getting developed with new project, new facility. So I'm very happy about it, and we'll do everything we can to support, make sure the project's successful and be on time, on budget as well.
Great. Thank you so much for the report.
Thank you, Dr. Davis, for that questions. Any other questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Commissioner Corson, you're good? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis just moved. Is there a second? Thank you, VP Villegas. Mr. Tursky, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 3 forward and forthwith.
Okay, we'll take the roll call, starting with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
All right.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
There you go, Mr. Tran. Thank you. Good seeing you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too, everybody.
Very well. Moving us on to item number 4. This is a request from the Bureau of Sanitation in all council districts for a memorandum of agreement with the University of Los Angeles fiscal year 2023-2024 through fiscal year 2025-2026, recommending the board to, 1, approve and forward this report with the transmittals to the mayor for authority to execute the proposed MOA between the City of Los Angeles and the University of California of Los Angeles regarding the administration cost and sharing for implementation of the Bayona Creek Coordinated Integrated Monitoring Program. And 2, upon the mayor's authorization, the president or 2 commissioners of the Board of Public Works and the the Bureau Director of the Sanitation will execute the MOA. I'm just gonna do a technical correction because the official and legal title of the Director of Bureau of Sanitation is Director, not General Manager.
Director. Okay.
So just for legal purposes, I'm gonna make that technical correction here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good morning, and you, Mr. Dimson?
Yep.
Oh,
Hi.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Kevin Dimson. I'm with the Watershed Protection Division. I'm a water biologist. I'm here with my supervisor, Miller Zoe, and we're here to speak to the proposed cost sharing agreement with UCLA. So just for some context, last year in 2023, the Watershed Protection Division established wide-scale cost-sharing agreements with the other public agencies in the region to cooperatively fund water quality monitoring programs that are required by the Los Angeles Regional NPDES MS4 stormwater permit. So the city is the established lead for these monitoring programs, and as such, the other agencies reimburse us for performing this work on their behalf. In particular, the Bayou Creek Watershed Agreement is currently in place between LA SAN and the 7 other agencies within that watershed. And the purpose of this proposed new agreement is to establish a way for another permittee, UCLA, to also participate in the Bayou Creek Water Quality Monitoring Program, which we refer to as the Bayou Creek CIMP or BC SIMP. So what UCLA gets out of this is that they will be able to meet their own compliance obligations by having partial ownership of the Bayou Creek monitoring data, and also the MS4 permit annual report that we submit regularly to the regional board. And in exchange for these services, UCLA has agreed to pay approximately $25,000 annually. And since this work is already being funded and performed under the other agreements, having UCLA come on board will not incur any extra cost to the city. So in short, we're looking to bring in UCLA as a partner to the Bayou Creek monitoring program, and in return, they'll reimburse the city $25,000 on an annual basis. So thank you, and we'll take any questions at this point.
Thank you so much. Did you say UCLA is going to reimburse us?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Any questions, colleagues, on this item? I see Commissioner Reyes.
So just for my edification, so UCLA will not be a voting participant. It's just a regular participant entitled to the data that will be collected and shared. Are there other types of entities where we are allowed to accept as a participant in the CIMP implementation that are like similar to UCLA and not a municipal agency?
Sure. Yeah, there's actually quite a few examples outside the Bayou Creek watershed. There's a few in the Upper LA River watershed and also Dominguez Channel, where other agencies have approached the city in a similar manner to request this type of access. And Miller, you might have more context.
Yeah, if you're talking about like a non-government entity such as UCLA, this is kind of the first time we're doing something like that, because they have a pretty big footprint area and have some stormwater obligations to fulfill. So they're essentially just joining to fulfill those obligations.
Are we expecting other entities to ask to participate?
Non-governmental entities, not so much. Recently, El Monte reached out to join our Upper LA River SIMP, and in Dominguez Channel, we've had, I think, Compton and Long Beach, I believe, also asked to join, but it's kind of, they come to us because we have these really large, wide-scale established monitoring programs already. So it's kind of, we take those requests as we get them, so we're not anticipating any, but it's also, as always possible, as these watersheds are pretty large and cover most of the areas.
Exactly. All right, thank you for the info. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Any other questions? Dr. Davis?
Yes, the fee that UCLA is paying for their association is $25,000. How many other partners do we have in the network here in this project?
So some of the same cities that Miller had mentioned. So if we look at City of Carson, and then he mentioned City of El Monte, so maybe a handful, less than a half dozen.
Mm-hmm.
But as regulations continue to develop, it does seem that this opportunity would come up more often moving forward, based on other cities' interests, and acknowledging that we do perform quite a bit of this monitoring work that services the region. So we do anticipate that down the line, this additional entities would want to participate in a similar manner.
What is the requirement for the members of the network? If $25,000 is what UCLA plays, and they're kind of in the role of kind of ex officio because they don't have a voting role, is that correct?
Correct. Right.
but yet they are associated with us. What is the requirement for those who do vote? How much do they pay, if anything?
Yeah. Yeah. So it is based. So the other agencies, at least in the Biney Creek watershed, there's our MOA budget over this 3-year term is about just over $3 million, and the way it's broken down for each agency is by jurisdictional boundary. So how much jurisdiction they have in the Biney Creek watershed. By far and large, State of Los Angeles is the majority. We have 80%, of that jurisdictional boundary attributed to us. So that amount is that percentage of their jurisdictional boundary is the percentage of the total cost that they pay.
Will this data that UCLA will have access to be used obviously for research as a higher education institution? I would suspect that the data that they have will enable them to be able to produce research that would be of use obviously to themselves, but first, are they going to use this data for research, and could that research be a benefit to any of the members of the network in this
Yeah, that's a good question. Speaking with UCLA and their representatives, they hadn't stated that they would be using it for educational research purposes, but they would have that opportunity. I guess first and foremost comes their compliance obligations, which they're trying to address. But there are the data that we do collect and have been collecting over the last few years. The city of Los Angeles does lead a few of the special studies to help us sort of investigate more of these water quality issues.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is a great motion in terms of including UCLA, because in many ways they are a constituent, and we depend upon our academic institutions for research on many issues that we do in government. And I think finally, even though UCLA is referred to as a non-government agency, it is a publicly funded institution, so that there is some connection between our relationship. We both have federal funds, for example, and I would move to say that there are many projects where we both enjoy state and local funds. So I think, again, in summary, that this motion makes good sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that a motion, Dr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
So moved.
Thank you so much. Thank you, VP Villegas. There's a first by Mr. Tursky, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by VP Villegas to move item number 4 forward and forthwith. Did you have questions, Commissioner Corson? Okay.
Ready to vote.
Okay.
Great. We will take the vote, starting with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. Aye. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The report is adopted and carries forthwith with the technical correction.
Perfect. That's what I was going to say. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and happy to work with UCLA.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day. All right, colleagues, moving us on to, these are our joint reports here, and we have item number 5 is a report from Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 7 for a project labor agreement Oro Vista Local Area Urban Flow Management Project, recommending the board to add the Department of Public Works project labor agreement to this project. And this morning, we have Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Sorry, it's my first time presenting in front of the board.
Well,
so it's a little
welcome.
bit
Yeah.
nervous. So, as you said, my name is Carlos Cruz. I'm from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Office of Contract Compliance. I will be speaking to the Oro Vista Local Area Urban Flow Management Project. Our recommendation as the Bureau of Contract Administration is that our Department of Public Works project labor agreement be added to this project. This project is located throughout portions of the Oro Vista Avenue and Foothill Boulevard within the boundaries of Council District Number 7. The city engineer has estimated a total construction cost of $29,973,537. This project is a design-build project. The project proposes a new stormwater conveyance system, stormwater infiltration, and landscaping along approximately 2,600 feet of Oro Vista Avenue and 500 feet of Foothill Boulevard in the community of Sunland Tahunga, located in the San Fernando Valley region of the city of Los Angeles. The goal of this project is to capture and treat stormwater runoff, recharge groundwater reserves, and provide community enrichments. The Department of Public Works Project Labor Agreement provides numerous benefits for the city, as mentioned in the report, one of the biggest benefits being the creation of jobs. Based on previously completed PLI projects, we estimate that this project could potentially generate 390 jobs and career opportunities. Adding the PLA to this project will ensure that construction work includes targets for hiring local residents, local apprentices, and transitional individuals. Thank you for your time, and I will now take questions if you have any.
Very well, Mr. Cruz. Thank you so much. You're doing great so far.
Thank you.
And they gave you a pretty good one, though. We're always very supportive of project labor agreements. But I believe we do have a couple of questions. So Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. And thank you for your report. I just have a couple of questions. And if you can't answer them, just get back to me. Why wasn't a PLA added to this project to begin with? The cost itself would indicate a PLA is required.
Good morning, Board. Ian Monte, also representing the Bureau of Contract Administration's Office of Contract Compliance. This project wasn't on our initial forecast when we brought the PLA to the board in 2021 because it wasn't on the radar. This is a project that may have been in the workings pre-pandemic. However, once the pandemic hit, there were a lot of projects that ultimately were shelved. This is one of those projects potentially that has come back, and because it was not on our radar, and the team at Bureau of Engineering reached out and said, hey, we've got a new project we're going to be advertising. It's not on the current list of PLA covered projects, so we want to add it. It took me about 20 seconds to say yes. And so that's why we're here today, and we're doing it individually rather than as a part of a large portion of projects we added at one time.
Okay, that's helpful. Which it leads me to my next question. Has this project already been advertised?
No, this project will be advertised probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
We're just trying to get out in front of it so that when it is advertised, the PLA is already a part of it.
Okay.
We don't have to add it as
Yeah. Usually we don't see these types of board letters independent to add a PLA, but thanks for your explanation, because they're usually in the advertisement and included in there.
Absolutely.
So in this process now, you will be including that before it's advertised. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And there is no additional cost to the project other than, I mean, the cost is already exuberant,
No, I
29
mean,
million.
No, adding the PLA won't add cost. So no.
What's that?
I said if you're asking the question of adding the PLA, will that add cost?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Any other questions, colleagues? No? Okay, no questions. We're happy to see I'm happy to see two things. One is that we're creating 339 jobs, and second, that there will be no more flooding in the valley.
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis and Commissioner Reyes. Ms. Satursky, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Reyes to move item number 5 forward and forthwith.
Great, we'll take the vote, starting with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Very well, thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Cruz, you did a great job, and welcome to the presentation circle, and we look forward to seeing you many more times.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to come back.
Thank you. Moving us on, colleagues, to our administrative items. This is an administrative item in all council districts. From the Bureau of Sanitation, the mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Sanitation to execute the cooperative agreement with the Southern California Stormwater Monitoring Coalition. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item? Thank you, VP Villegas. Ms. Satursky, there's a first by me and a second by VP Villegas to move item number 6 forward and forthwith.
Okay, we will take the vote with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corsan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Very well. Moving on to item number 7. This is in Council District 8. No, I think this should have been.
This was, okay,
Yeah, we took this on a special on Wednesday.
perfect.
Okay. Right? Confirming.
Confirmed. That was on our special on Wednesday.
Okay,
And it was
I
approved.
just, because I wanted to make sure, there's just so many different elements, but this was on that one. All right, moving us on to an oral report. Item number 8, this is status update on major upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services. And we have Mr. Brandt here this morning. Good morning, sir, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, President Garcia, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, and Ms. Zatorsky. My name is Gary Brandt, Superintendent with the Street Renewal Division of Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact our coordinating section for the Street Renewal Division at 213-847-3200. There are no major street projects scheduled in the Metro or Valley resurfacing regions during the week of 7/14/24 through 7/20/24. Additionally, we will provide an update on our 24-25 pavement preservation program. During the week of July 14, 2024 through July 20th, 2024, the Valley and Metro regions will complete 26 projects, resulting in 13.42 lane miles. The press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with council offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders. We have coordinated with Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org, using the resurfacing open projects icon. This concludes my report.
Very well, thank you for that. Any questions to the Bureau of Street Services? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Brandt. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much, and all of you as well.
Thank you. Moving us on to item number 9. This is a Small Business Academy progress update from the Bureau of Contract Administration. And I know that Melissa is here on that item. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning. As she said, I'm Melissa Savage. I'm a Senior Management Analyst with Bureau of Contract Administration. And I work on the Accessing LA and Small Business Academy programs, as you all know. I've worked with most of you. So Small Business Academy, it is that time of year again. We will again have it in the fall. At this time, we met once prior to the July 4th holiday with our partners. So Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Sanitation, DWP, POLA. We're working with LAWA to get, since Erin Henning, she was our go-to person at LAWA, she retired. So we're working with them to get a new person from LAWA to come on board. So we have the basics down. We're going to be doing it from mid-ish October to mid-November. We're hoping to do a hybrid again this year. Last year we did one in person at the beginning, and we did the graduation ceremony here, and the rest were on Zoom. This year we're going to add one more additional in-person, more interactive class for them to network a little bit more. People post-pandemic, or we're still in the pandemic, have become very accustomed to Zoom calls and listening to presentations that way, and we're trying to find that line to accommodate both the networking and personal hands-on aspect of the program, but also accommodate people's very busy schedules. So because of the July 4th holiday, we haven't met since that initial one, but we have been working on the application, which we hope to send out within the month. And that will get the ball rolling.
Okay, very well. Thank you for that. Dr. Davis?
The report includes, this is the Small Business Academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you said Accessing LA, where we have traditionally done various projects in different regions of the city. And we still do those as well.
We
correct?
still do those. This is in addition to the Accessing LA at this point is the umbrella term for the 3 with programs. So Rise
Sure.
With, Build With, Team With. And then Small Business Academy is similar in what information is presented, but it's much more intimate. It's a smaller class instead of a big group setting. It's an intensive sort of program over a series of evenings. So it's just a more hands-on, more intimate experience and a little bit more detailed, more than we can get when we're dealing with 100 people versus 20.
And we have also been sensitive to inclusion of various cultural communities in our city, many of whom have not had the kind of access to information about it. And so we have, I think in the past, done a great job at outreach in those various communities dominant cultural communities such as the Asian American community, the Latino American community, the African American community in terms of doing what was Access LA projects there. So we will continue to do those.
Absolutely. The
as
last
well.
Small Business Academy, I don't have the percentages in front of me, but I can tell you it was over 50% minority and women-owned businesses. I don't know the exact percentages, but it was a majority of minority and women-owned.
So I know we have a budget deficit now, but at one point last year, we were thinking about from the administrators and contract administration expanding our effort towards the Small Business Academy. We, in terms of the traditional Small Business Academy, only have one of those per year in a big city.
Yeah.
I won't go on to say 4 million people, but we had heard from the leaders in your bureau that they had a vision to expand that Small Business Academy in the future when we have the appropriate resources. Is that still a part of?
That is something we would like to do. And there we've been thinking of different ways to do it, either an additional class or a 2.0 version. Or there's different ideas being floated for it, but until the resource is available and we know exactly what we have to work with, we can't really plan too much.
Great. Well, thank you for this report. I think it's a very important program, and I know that small businesses appreciate the effort that we have put in it in the years that I've observed it, and they have verbally stated to me when I'm out at events for the Department of Public Works how much they appreciate the work that the Bureau is doing in this
Yeah.
effort.
And
So
I thank
want
all
to
of
know
you
that.
for your help with all of those events.
Yes, yes.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Davis. Any other questions, colleagues? Melissa, just to piggyback on what Dr. Davis asked, this year, your team put together a budget package to increase the Small Business Academy, correct?
To increase this section, I believe they were looking for another staff position, which I don't believe what came to fruition, so.
Okay. No, I know I spoke to Mr. Reamer, and I was pretty bummed that that was not one of the things that were funded, because we were looking forward to increasing the Small Business Academy classes, because of, to your point,
Sure.
40 per year is, for a city like us, is not enough. We want to see more than that. So hopefully throughout the year, there's a way that we can increase that. And it might not just look the way it looks today, but perhaps morphing it in a way that we could help more small businesses and above the 40 numbers per year.
Yeah, I agree, and I think everyone's on the same page with that, especially with what we've seen with pandemic changes and Zooms and in-person versus out-person and different ways of doing things. I think it's a really good time to try to assess that and see what our options are.
Okay, I understand. I would encourage that as we start preparing for next year's budget already, because that's going to start in a few weeks already. We're almost here already. We just finished completing one, and we're about to start planning for the other one. I would hope that I recommend that we include this package again and really highlight the need that there is for this as we keep coming with, so many big events in the city and just the increase of, we're not, we have diminished on, increasing our staff, but perhaps other ways that we can do this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my department oversees not just the events, but also the certification
Correct.
application program. So that's a lot of different things going on, and we've been dealing with both sides. So definitely trying to find a way to maximize our outreach, but also minimize the pulling away staff
Exactly.
from the certification side. So.
Okay, so I recommend that stays really up and on the forefront for BCA as well.
Absolutely. I have
Okay.
it. I'll copy and paste it into this year's budget.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Melissa. I don't see any other questions from the commissioners. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good weekend and good to see you. Moving us on to item number 10. This is a Solvents Automotive's Flammable Electronic Waste Safe Collection Centers update from the Bureau of Sanitation. And we have Ms. Lozano here. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm here today from LA Sanitation and Environment, environmental engineer with the Solid Resources Citywide Recycling Division. I'll be briefing you today on some metrics and some updates on the Residential Special Materials Program, also known as the city's Household Hazardous Waste Collection Program. A little background on the program. Safe centers are household hazardous waste and electronic waste collection centers established throughout the city of LA. We have 7 facilities open every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 3 to all residents of the city and county of Los Angeles. Safe centers can accept a large variety of hazardous waste such as paint, electronics, automotive products, batteries, light bulbs, medications, sharps, garden pool chemicals, and compressed gas cylinders. The list goes on. The Household Hazardous Waste Collection Program also manages citywide battery, sharps, and used oil collection sites where constituents can visit designated collection points to dispose of these items. These accessible sites include public libraries, police stations, recreation and park facilities, and auto parts stores where they can be recycled at no cost. Additionally, there are used oil recovery centers built in San Pedro and Wilmington where boaters can dispose of their waste, like the used oil filters and oily debris. Since our last oral report last year, the LA Glendale Safe Center has been closed for about a year due to construction going on at the LA Glendale Water Reclamation Plant. This has posed some issues. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of construction laydown blocking access to the facility, so we've been closed. There is no word yet on when they will be done with their construction. We really anticipate it being done by this year sometime, but we're taking advantage of this closure. We want to make some improvements to the facilities. For example, the hazardous waste lockers are sitting on some concrete pedestals that are spalling, so we want to make repairs, build a roof structure so we can protect the workers and the residents to come through. So at the same time, we want to hold an event in that area so we can continue to serve the residents. So we're anticipating sometime September or October to have a collection event. In the meantime, since it's been closed, we've been routing residents to our Sun Valley location and our East LA location. And fortunately for some, many have found that, or some have found that the Washington Safe Center in the East LA area have been closer to them than the LA Glendale area. So there have been some positives. Of course, we've been receiving some, requests to open again, but, we really want to. But at the same time, we're taking advantage of this time to make improvements. So again, with the improvements, we're looking to do the same for the Gaffey Safe Center. The Gaffey Safe Center and the LA Glendale Safe Centers are they were built almost 20 years ago with no running water, no shade structure. Essentially, it's a temporary style facility. So we would like to build up these facilities so that, it overall improves the experience, protects the workers, and they'll continue to operate. So they should be permanent facilities here in the city. We've held 4 mobile events in the last fiscal year, the last one being at the Discovery Cube in April to kick off Earth Month. It was a very successful event. And on the topic of Earth Day, our staff have participated in the open houses and the Earth Day events, promoting the program. We are hoping to, engage in more of these types of events. We have found that we don't really have an outreach component to our program, a solid one, where we can establish partnerships, continue to educate the public on these resources, because our participation is good, but it can be better. So with the, millions of people in the city of Los Angeles, the number of participation that we receive every year is relatively low. So we are working with the Public Affairs Office to actually establish outreach campaigns. This first one being an overall video that could be available and also shared with council offices and the Board of Public Works web pages and our webpage and social media on how to prepare for a safe center, what to expect, what happens to the material. And we are very aware of all of the battery fires that have been taking place. So we'd like to create like a package of different types of material that require a bit more attention on how to safely handle it and not throw in the trash. So this is in the works. I'm very excited about it. And lastly, some metrics. In the last fiscal year, we collected about 7 million pounds of waste, and that includes the household hazardous waste and electronic waste. And to give you an idea, we get about 134,000 participants a year. So yes, this number can be bigger. So that concludes my oral presentation. Happy to answer any questions you guys have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Lozano. Very thorough report there. Any questions, colleagues? Commissioner Reyes?
Do you have a written plan for your program? Listing all of the campaigns, for your proposed campaign, for example, and the outreach events that you will be participating in. I would be curious to take a look at it, to try to see, because there are connections on, with LA Sands different events where your program can connect and be visible in the interim that we have closures, and also work with our city council, because they do have community events where then we can participate either by tabling or doing a small collection event at that specific location.
Yeah, these are wonderful opportunities. I don't have a written plan at this time. I'd be happy to put one together and share with you. A lot of this is brainstorming that the team and I have been doing recently. And with PAO, we did meet with them. We did introduce this idea. So it's in progress. So yeah, I can put a plan together and share that with you. I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. I look forward to that.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Very well, thank you for that. Any other questions, colleagues? When do we estimate for this Safe Center to reopen?
It really depends on the construction going on site. The construction was estimated to be completed within 3 months, and it's been over a year now.
A year?
Yes.
Oh.
So I don't want to set a hard deadline, hard date rather, because it's out of our control, really.
Got it.
I want to be optimistic and say next year.
This year, sometime this year.
2025.
Okay, understood. Okay, just wanted to gauge when we will be able to see a Safe Center open in that area as well. So for now, you're just operating 2 centers?
We are operating 6.
6?
Yes.
This is the only one that,
It's
if not, we would have
temporarily
been at
closed.
7.
Yes, we have 7 total, and this one is temporarily closed, so we are operating 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood. Okay, I don't have it. Dr. Davis?
Yes, so the one that's closed is in what region of the city?
It's roughly bordering CD 14 and 15, so it's in the northeast LA area.
Okay, northeast. Now, some time ago, there was discussion in earlier reports that we would try to also implement a safe center serving the South Los Angeles area.
That's correct.
You remember that?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
where are we with that? I didn't hear any comment about that.
Yes, unfortunately, there has been no progress with that. However, we understand that it takes quite a bit to build a new safe center, given that City of Los Angeles is a very dense city, and there may not be many locations available and maybe suitable to construct this type of facility. So we are really exploring the idea of holding more of these mobile types of collections in the area that are more continuous rather than once every year or so. And of course we're limited to budget and other things, but there is a much bigger benefit if there is something more routine in the area and more accessible, because we do understand, especially in the South LA area, many residents are driving, and based on the zip code data that we collect, they are driving either to Playa del Rey or Northeast LA, very far, so so we do want to host more mobile style events until we find a suitable location. I find that it is rather challenging to find locations to hold events or even to build a center. Of course, if there was a system where you can look up vacant lots type of thing and, see what can work for the area or in these underserved areas especially, of course, it would make everyone's job a lot easier.
Sure.
But if opportunity arises, of course, we would love to explore this idea of building a new one in that area. But maybe a temporary solution could be to host more collection opportunities within these neighborhoods.
In the past, I think you've done that, and I don't know if in fact you got assistance from the council offices to identify an organization where you could do those, or if that was the process that you went through to do those. So in South LA, I am certainly aware that you have been doing them. I know in particular you did one annually at the Los Angeles Sentinel, which is geographically located in a very good and visible place.
Yes.
And I would suspect that if you contacted the council offices to identify places in the past, you will continue to do that. I wanted to ask the question about funding for these safe centers. Where does the funding for the safe centers come from?
Where does it come from?
Yes.
Well, it comes from various sources. We have funding from our used oil grant that supports it. We have funding from LA County that helps support it because they also have a household hazardous waste collection program. We also have city sources such as the stormwater collection, stormwater pollutant abatement, and other adopted city budgets. So there is a various special funds that are supporting this.
I see.
Yes.
So when we look at where you get the funds from and the dense population that exists in South LA and your mission of really trying to better effectively manage these materials that we must, from a sanitation point of view, is that still a priority in terms of getting the funds for the South LA location? Is that still a priority from the Bureau?
Absolutely. It is absolutely a priority to utilize these funds for these types of opportunities. If needed to request more funding to support these types of activities, we will do so.
No, what I'm asking is it a priority, a project specifically in South LA? Is that a
area.
priority on
I
the
see. Yes, it has-
agenda?
I apologize, I missed your question. Yes, it has always been a priority. It has been always communicated from our upper management as well. And we were so excited to have this opportunity to build that new Safe Center in the South LA area, but unfortunately the plan did not go through and we were not able to build. So, we are actively seeking opportunity to build. So it's always been a priority for the South LA area. It's just that we unfortunately are limited to the space needed to build this type of facility.
When we do this work, is it something that's intrinsic in terms of the staff within the Bureau of Sanitation, or is there some outreach effort that we do before we implement such a project? In other words, do we contact the council office and do they develop a community-based group to help us in some way to do that kind of a project, or not really?
In terms of constructing a new facility?
For example, yes, if we did a South LA project, do we outreach to constituents to have a role in the work that we're about to do, or not really?
To be quite honest with you, I have not been involved in such a thing.
I see.
And I would come to you immediately
Okay.
to ask you.
Well, yeah, the reason
for
why I
some
asked
idea.
is the reason why I asked is I was surprised by the support and enthusiasm of some constituents when you do the field projects like the one you did at the Sentinel. The numbers of block club associations and people who are members, their enthusiasm for getting items to carry to the event says to me that they would be interested when you do such a project in the area to
Yeah.
have some role in some way, is my opinion.
Yeah, of course. And, at all of our facilities, we get a lot of really great feedback and, people really want to do the right thing. It would be beneficial for the Bureau really to engage the community to get feedback. And if they have ideas, on places they know about that we may not know right away, that are available or accessible that we could investigate and take a look. So these are all really great points, and I'm excited to share this with our management and staff as well to see if we can pursue such a thing.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, but yeah, of course, if there is opportunity, we will jump on that right away. And even if it takes some time, and we have to apply for grants, we'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Davis. Commissioner Corson?
Thank you. Real quick, you had mentioned metrics in your prepared remarks. Do you have any fiscal year metrics you could send to us at some point today or Monday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yes, would you like to see the metrics of the volume collected over a course of a few years?
Volume collected for the last year, if there's a breakdown of what kind of collection it was, and regionally too. So I think to Dr. Davis's point, if we can see the numbers of where they're going, I think maybe we can make a stronger case to get South LA a safe center.
Sure, okay. Just for your information, we do collect a large variety of material. I'll do my best to shrink that into categories that are, maybe more palatable, but
If it's too broad, if you just want to do it per site and then a total citywide, that's fine too.
I'll do my best. I'll give you as much information as possible.
Thank you.
If you could just send it to the whole commission so we can see it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Commissioner Corson. Any other questions?
I realize that some of your reports sometimes have that information in the past, just the amount that we've collected in some of our safe sites. But I don't know if it's readily available just online.
Online, like a
The type of material you collect and all that.
Oh, we don't have that published information. No, it would be nice to
Yeah.
publish the information. I agree
It
with
would.
you.
I've seen it before when, your staff has presented to us in the past, just a broader.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll make sure of that for the next time. Yeah.
Thank you for that also. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Thank you for your time this morning, Ms. Lozano. And thank you for all the feedback and everything, all answering all the questions. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Thank you as well.
All right. Ms. Satorsky, is that the end of our voting items and our oral reports?
Yes, that clears our agenda
Very
items.
well. Thank you. That clears the desk. It is 11:09 and this meeting is officially adjourned. Colleagues, will have a really short meeting in the conference room. With that, thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend and see you all next Wednesday.